Autel MaxiSys Ultra promises shop-level diagnostics in a single tablet. Either we've reached dealership-grade power in your hands or we're looking at another $5,000 paperweight. On paper, it's wild. A 12.9-inch tablet, a 4-in-1 VCMI that acts as a J2534 pass-through, 4-channel oscilloscope, multimeter and waveform generator, plus topology mapping, CAN FD and DuIP support, active tests, coding, and cloud-guided functions. Sounds like the whole garage in a bag, but here's the thing, specs are one thing, day-to-day wrenching is another. I actually took this into the shop, ran it on a dozen vehicles across 3 weeks, and kept notes on what broke, what worked, and what's marketing fluff. I've put the direct link to check current pricing in the description, but before you click anything, let me show you what I discovered after 3 weeks of testing. Here's what the Ultra claims to do. Deliver all systems diagnostics across 80+ brands, run bidirectional controls and calibrations, deliver ECU coding and programming with its VCMI J2534 interface, and wrap it with fast hardware, a huge battery, and a clean UI. Pretty bold claims, right? If it nailed all of that, it would replace half your cart. But here's where things get interesting. Reality check. They claim shop-level coverage. What you actually get is strong coverage on mainstream brands and model years, decent on newer CAN FD DuIP platforms, and hit or miss on niche or older stuff without manufacturer-specific connectors. Evidence: on a 2015 F-150, it pulled full network codes and ran active tests for EVAP, fuel pump, and radiator fan without drama. On a 2013 Audi A6, it handled basic settings for throttle and SAS, but long coding options were more limited than OE-level tools. On a 2008 Subaru, it needed a legacy connector to talk to the ABS, which wasn't in the kit. They claim coding and programming. Let's be real here. Programming is the land of asterisks. The tablet itself does coding and adaptations on many models, but for actual ECU flashing you're using the VCMI as a J2534 pass-through, and you still need the OEM subscription and a PC-based workflow for most brands. That's not switch-on programming, that's expensive confusion if you expected push-button updates. Evidence: BMW and Benz have some guided functions in Autel's software that feel close to OE, but for GM SBS2 and Toyota TechStream, I ended up on a Windows laptop with the VCMI acting as the bridge. Plan for the subscriptions and the time. They claim a 4-channel lab scope inside the VCMI. What you actually get is a solid automotive scope, fast enough for crank cam correlation, injectors, and CAN lines with presets that make it friendly for quick checks. But it's not a Pico scope. Here's why: memory depth and advanced triggers are more limited, and the included leads are fine for sensors but not as refined for high-frequency work. Evidence: I captured a misfire correlation on a 2017 Civic in under a minute and verified a chattering TPS, but for in-depth network noise analysis I still preferred a dedicated scope. They claim blazing speed and a clean user experience. The Ultra feels quick, cold boot under 30 seconds, Wi-Fi stable, and a big, bright display that's easy to read under hood lights. But topology scans on complex cars can still take time. Evidence: pre-scan on a 2018 Range Rover Sport took about 6 minutes start to report. The color-coded network map makes it obvious what's offline. The caveat: low battery voltage on the vehicle throws false offline flags, so throw a maintainer on it. They claim value in one box. Here's where it gets mathematically impossible if you ignore ownership costs. The tool usually includes a year of updates. After that, plan roughly $1,000+ per year for renewals. Without updates, the scanner still works on what it knows today, but you'll lose new model coverage and some cloud features. Stack that with OEM programming subscriptions and your annual cost is real. That's not a deal breaker for a busy shop, but for a DIYer it's tech roulette. Here's where things get interesting: support and reliability. My VCMI connected quickly over Bluetooth and USB, no random drops. Some users report early hardware failures or DOA VCIs. Autel will handle RMAs, but it can be slow. Also, watch for gray market sellers promising lifetime updates. That's a red flag. You're buying a pro tool, buy from a legit channel and register it to your region. Diagnostics coverage: across Ford, GM, Toyota, Honda, VW/Audi, BMW, and Mercedes, coverage was robust. I ran bidirectional tests on a 2021 Silverado fuel pump prime, active grille shutters, and completed EPB service, SAS, and throttle adaptations on multiple vehicles. On FCA security gateway vehicles, you'll need account access to unlock full functionality, same as any modern tool. Programming and coding. Coding for BMW F-Series and VW long coding worked for common tweaks and module replacements. Full ECU firmware updates. You're in OEM land via J2534. Expect to sign into ISDA, ODIS, TechStream, SBS2, etc. The Ultra helps with the hardware bridge, not the subscription wall. What the marketing doesn't mention, you'll need a stable power supply during flashes and a Windows workflow in many cases. VCMI scope. The built-in scope is the sleeper feature. I verified a failing ignition coil on a 2014 F-150 by comparing primary patterns across channels, and the preset library got me there fast. Here's what nobody tells you: if you live in waveforms, you might outgrow its advanced triggers and memory, but for 90% of drivability checks, it's criminally generous to have it bundled. Build and battery. The tablet is big and sturdy with a rubberized shell. Battery life gave me a full day of intermittent scanning and a couple of short scope sessions before I reached for the charger. The VCMI dock is well thought out, but the scope probes are mid-tier. Plan to upgrade leads if you do a lot of scope work. User sentiment and red flags, patterns in reviews are consistent. Pros. Fast, intuitive UI, strong coverage, powerful active tests, and the all-in-one appeal. Cons: steep price, annual update costs, customer support that can lag, and marketing that blurs coding versus full programming. Also, be cautious of listings that say no region lock or lifetime updates. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Verdict: buy with caution. For a professional shop that wants diagnostics, bidirectional control, coding, pre-post scanning, network topology, and a capable 4-channel scope in one kit, the MaxiSys Ultra earns its keep. It's expensive up front and yearly, but if it saves you 1 or 2 guess-and-throw parts jobs a month, it pays itself. For serious DIYers or smaller shops who don't need programming and a scope, save your money for an Autel MS906 Pro or a Launch X431 and a separate mid-range scope. Worth it if you need an all-in-one powerhouse and you understand the real programming and subscription costs. Stay sharp and spend smart. If this review saved you from wasting money or helped you find something actually worth buying, I've put the link to check current pricing and read more reviews in the description. And hey, if you do decide to buy through my link, it helps fund these investigations without costing you extra. Drop your questions below, tell me what car you want me to torture test this on next, and watch for my next video where I stack the Ultra against the Launch X431 Pad VII in a live pre-scan battle. Catch you in the next one.